right, everybody, welcome to the very first ever Holt Outdoors Podcast. This is something I've wanted to do for quite a while now. I love podcasts. I listen to them all the time, and I'm really excited about it. Hopefully it's going to go well, and we'll have a bunch of future episodes to put out and have fun with it. So I'm the host, Brennan Holt, and the producer of everything that we do is sitting right here, Trey. He's my first cousin, and we've been tackling this little adventure together. And yeah, we're just gonna have a conversation about everything involving Holt Outdoors, and Trey will ask me some questions or whatever, and we'll just get into it. But super excited, and I guess we're gonna talk a lot about the origin of Holt Outdoors, kind of where it started for me, and just how we got into this. So, you got anything to add off the
No,
bat?
I mean that's going to be a big thing that we're going to be tackling is kind of how this got started. I actually just got notification on our YouTube channel a week or two ago that our channel's officially 2 years old. So it's been a couple of years we've been rolling through this now, kind of growing and putting out content for you guys, whether it's deer hunting, turkey hunting, youth season. Obviously now our big focus is on the coon hunting space and Brennan's journey, kind of training his dogs, Boone, to start. Now we're moving on with Ruby and Shy.
Yeah.
So a lot of moving pieces, a lot of good things happening out there in the woods, and we're trying our best to document and get everything out to help educate as well as entertain and just take you guys kind of along Brennan's journey. Which we'll touch on more as we kind of get through this. But as far as the origin, as I mentioned, we're going on 2 years now. And our very first video, we started more I guess, typical or stereotypical hunting style, deer hunting, turkey hunting. We talked about doing fishing. We never have done fishing.
We've done a couple of little things.
Yeah, it hasn't been anything crazy, but
nothing much. A couple shorts.
I guess my question to you, or just to kind of get us going here, I understand we started with more traditional hunting stuff. How do you think it's evolved up to this point from where we started?
I think it's evolved good, and I mean, I plan on doing more. Continuing to do deer and turkey hunting,
Sure,
and a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
because that's the way we are, and that's why I think people will like our channel, because this is just what I've done my whole life is deer hunt, turkey hunt, whatever season is in is what I'm about doing. So
right.
But I mean, really to start from the beginning would be to go back a long ways.
Yeah,
which would be
right. For you, it's a long ways.
For me, yeah.
For you, it's a long ways. So this is really the first piece that we've done. Kind of getting to know us. Obviously, Brennan, he's pretty much the face and does a lot of the hunting and in the woods and coon hunting with Shy and Ruby and all those different things. So you don't know a ton about me. That's kind of by design, I guess. I don't really have, my experience is obviously in production. I'm the producer side. I help edit, we talk about things, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so this is a good opportunity to tell people kind of your path real quick and your take on that side of what it takes to make something, finished product.
Yeah.
So I mean, start with, what you did in college, or how you got to the point where you decided what you were going to do. And
yeah. So
your
without
path.
going through my entire life story, obviously Brennan and I are both from Southwest Missouri, pretty rural.
Yeah.
It's not the other one. Yeah, pretty rural area. So hunting's always been big around us. Deer, obviously turkey, fish a lot. Where lakes are all around us and whatnot. But me specifically, I never got bit by the bug as hard as Brennan or even my brother did. They hunted all the time when they were growing up.
And my brother.
And Brennan's brothers and so on. So that it never, stuck with me. Kind of like, oh, I love doing this. I look forward to this every year. Just for whatever reason, it never hit. But fast forward to my college years. This is what I went to school for. Blah blah blah. We're not going to get into that. But I really had a hands-on look at the I guess hunting / production media world. I had an internship with the popular hunting channel Growing Deer out of Branson or Reed Spring, Missouri. So I got a real hands-on look at how their operation ran, what it takes to put together a cohesive story when it comes to deer or turkey hunting, talking more mainstream. So having that experience and leading into what we've built, there's things I've changed or thought we should change. But it was a good experience, kind of realizing how much it takes to put together a cohesive thing. And that's kind of led to some of our, what I'll call growing pains. You know?
Make no mistake, it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's been ups and downs.
For sure.
And we're not even close to where we would like to take it to.
Well, that's true.
It is not easy.
That's true, but compared to where we were and where we started, we've come a long way. Brennan and I, yes, we're cousins, but I treat him more like a brother, and I would say that the same for me. So we fight like brothers, especially when we don't always see eye to eye. So there's been a lot of growth and a lot of learning along the way of how things, ebb and flow between us because we have vastly different points of view. Production, more technical side, the more purist hunter, wants to be out in the woods type. So that's kind of what makes up the team, if you will.
So to go back, you got a degree from Missouri State University in, what's the degree name?
Digital film and television production.
Okay. So you got that degree, and then you pretty much immediately put it to work after you got out of school. And since then, you've started working for a different company. Yeah. But you've done a lot of high-level editing.
Yeah, that's kind of what I started as, was going to be my specialty. It was solely on editing because, it was a cool thing to be able to take what's shot and make it basically whatever. Yeah. But that is, with time and experience and different things going on, that's branched out to full-on videography, graphic design, all the things. This isn't a resume.
You can do a lot of different stuff.
So that's kind of why the production side, kind of runs through me. Obviously, Brennan and I work together on a lot of that stuff, but that's kind of how I view things. And, at times there's challenges wherever in my mind I see it because I see it through a production mindset, and it takes some ebb and flow, some over communication, some yelling to get Brennan on the same page and kind of go from there. But enough about me. That's kind of my thought process about it all. So let me ask you now, similarly, because I like we said, we could go back to when you were 8, 10, 12 to really when this thing started. But
I'd like to tell.
I mean, okay. Yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm just. I'll tell the first parts of it, and then you can ask your question. But obviously, I'm from the same area and grew up hunting, fishing, everything. My dad got me into all of it. But really, as long as I can remember, my older brother, and I would love to have him on here to give his take, maybe in a future podcast, but my oldest brother, Devin, he always had a camera with us as long as I can remember. He bought one of those package deals from Campbell Outdoors that come with the latest and greatest camera at that time, which this would have been like, I don't know, early 2000s probably. Yeah. So as long as I can remember, he's had a camera, and we've been filming everything: turkey hunts, deer hunts. In fact, I remember one specific, and we always did this just to watch it back and just have fun with it. Yeah. It was really my brother's kind of dream, if you will, to have a hunting channel or a hunting show one day, because back then social media wasn't a thing, YouTube wasn't a thing. It was like, who could get on the outdoor channel or whatever, or make your stuff into a DVD. So he always wanted to do that, and I've just carried that on. Right. I've just always liked filming stuff. It's so much harder when you can do that and have a successful hunt, and it's fun to watch it back. But there's one particular story I remember. He was filming me when I was probably 10 to 12-ish. I had an old Browning compound bow. It was a youth model compound bow, and I was trying to kill my first deer with a bow. And we were hunting this property that we used to have permission to hunt, but this doe, she comes out and she finally gets within range, which is like 15 or 20 yards for me. And I shot, and of course every arrow was just this like arcing arrow because I was barely pulling enough poundage to even kill a deer.
Yeah, lob shot.
Yeah, and I shoot, and this arrow is looking good, and the deer ducks, and it's looking good, and it just disappears right where I think it should be. And he's like in the tree next to me, and I'm so excited. I think I've got her. He watches it back, and he kind of gives me this look like he's about to break bad news to me. And then he tells me, I think you shot under her. And I lost my mind as an 11-year-old, 10 or 11-year-old, 12-year-old kid. I lost my mind. I started crying. I was so upset, mad. But that's just, if you ask Devin, that's probably one of the funnier moments because he just thought it was hilarious. But I do remember that hunt like it was yesterday. But we've just filmed he's filmed so many hunts, and that's where it all started. I mean,
yeah.
And then, of course, now I've got a daughter that's just turned a year old, and he's got 2 kids, both of them almost teenagers. And, things just changed a little bit. He's kind of not hunted as much in the last, 5-10 years or so, and that's all I do. That's what I live for.
Believe me, I know.
And I've wanted to have a hunting show, channel, whatever you want to call it, for a long time.
Yeah.
And the 2 opportunities have finally met, and those are first cousin and like, brother, basically. We spend a ton of time together anyways, with a degree in editing and all of that stuff that goes with it. And then me, who has the desire and the want to go out and film. So that's really kind of how it started, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it's
carried over all these years.
Honestly, I don't even remember the conversations we had leading up to the first video we put out, which was Hayden's youth turkey hunt in 2023. Mm-hmm. I don't even recall, that we had this grandiose kind of plan to launch this new channel and be putting out content and everything else. It just kind of happened, just like Brennan said. I mean, I've had the background. He has the expert or I guess field knowledge to go and do it on his own. He doesn't, like some people hunt in pairs, one calls, blah, blah, blah. I know that's, give or take on the person. But
anytime I could have a cameraman, I'm going to have one.
Yeah, and, and we've kind of, from a technical standpoint, we've overcome some challenges to where now it's a little bit of a self-sufficient system. Of course, when the stars align and I'm able to go out with him on a coon hunt or whatever, I'm happy to do that. But between life and everything else, sometimes it's hard for us to connect during the week or whatever the case is. So that's kind of, we're getting to a point where we figured out the system. We've been a lot less contentious with each other this past year, I would say, because we finally kind of figured out how it needs to work. But that's kind of how we got started in terms of the channel. A little bit of backstory about me and kind of Brennan's influence that his brother had on him, and what kind of led him to.
And I gotta say, your brother.
Yeah, my brother.
And Jody Phillips were filming turkey hunts.
Yeah, my brother was.
It was what we did, and everybody had. And I got a hat right up there. It's an old one.
Yeah.
Everybody
vintage.
had. Yeah. The Holt Outdoors. Hat. My brother had it made.
Yeah.
And everybody, my cousin, my uncle, my dad, my brother, me, Trey. Yeah. Laramie, Jody,
we all
everybody
were part
had
of
a hat.
A little. It wasn't anything official, but it was a little select group. You had a Holt Outdoors hat. We were all, friends and talked about hunting and
long before anything came that you all have seen of recently.
Right.
But go ahead.
No, so now that we've kind of touched on that, let's dive more into where we're at currently and kind of Well, I think if I recall, we've done 9 episodes of the Coonhound Chronicles,
Yeah.
and we as of episode 7 had some pretty big changes. So
Yeah.
kind of talk about how this started, what your motivation was there, and how how we got here, and kind of talk us through the steps that you've gone through.
Yeah. Well, just to go back a little bit, I started coon hunting whenever I was probably 16 or so in high school. Shout out to Chase Glore and a couple of the old buddies that I used to go with. My good friends still today, Cody Mountain, Ethan, which you guys have seen on the channel. We all were coon hunting way back in the day. And Chase had a pretty nice dog. And I just fell in love with it. I went several times with other people and never even seen a coon get treed, but I was so fascinated by it. And then started going with Chase, and he had a pretty nice dog that
Keep going. I'm gonna get up and check the cameras.
okay. Chase Glore, he had a really nice dog that I started going with him, and then I figured out what actual coon hunting was about. That dog could tree some coons, and I just fell in love with it. And at that point, I had to have a dog of my own. So I got a couple of pups out of some Russell Beck stock, and Russell Beck is a living legend. Lives just down the road from me in Cross Timbers, about 10 miles away. He's had really good coon dogs for a long time, and so I raised those pups, and they were good pups. We just actually one of them, Bo, he passed away just a couple months ago. 13 years old, and I still have the other one, Dixie. She's outside. She's 13 as well, and that's where it all kind of started with me as far as coon hunting goes. And now fast forward to about a year and a half ago. I'm married now. Life's kind of slowing down in ways for me. Got a job, I have a steady job. Yes, I do have a daughter, but things are just different than they were when you're in college, and just different. But I decided I was going to get back into coon hunting because I missed it, and so I got a pup. And anyone that's raised dogs or trained working dogs, hunting dogs, there's something special about raising one.
Yeah.
From a pup, from a weaned pup. You buy it, you have no idea what it's going to be, what it's going to do, and something special about getting one from a puppy and turning it into something that you want. So with that said, though, you have to be honest with yourself on what you have and what you want. And so that's when I got Boone. I actually got Boone and Remy, not litter mates, but got Boone and Remy, and Remy just didn't really work out from day one. She was skittish. She never really took to me, so I sold her in hopes that someone else would be able to do better with her. But Boone, he was special off the bat. I mean,
Yeah.
he was. I called him Big Mouth Boone because he barked a lot. But yeah, he treed a cage coon with my old dog Bo when he was 3 months old.
Yeah.
And then he just kept going from there. But he did hit a kind of a lull, and a lot of it was my fault. We were really dry last summer. I shouldn't have been hunting him as much as I was. Just kind of setting him up for failure, honestly. But it just got to the point where I just felt like something wasn't right, and that he needed to go to someone else, that someone else could get out of him what his potential was better than I could. Yeah. And the biggest problem with him was I want a competition hunt and I want to compete at some point. And as hard as it was to get rid of him because I raised him,
Yeah. This is bittersweet.
I had to. I didn't want to, but I kind of had to. And the biggest problem was whenever he was around other dogs, he just kind of acted crazy.
Yeah.
He just wanted to follow them, and you know, that's something that can be worked on for sure. But to work on it, it's going to take being turned loose with 3 other dogs a bunch, and you know, a lot of correction that I don't want to have to do.
Yeah, and logistically, just from what, you know, because we talked about this till he was blue in the face and my ears were about to fall off. We talked about Boone and his shortcomings and things that, and for him to, you know, he
aggravated me.
Yeah, he aggravated you. There's no doubt.
Up and down.
That's not always hard to do, but you know, to work on that. We talked about it. The logistics of that, you're going to need 3 more dogs. Obviously, something you don't have.
Or buddies that
have quality dogs and are willing to go hunt as much as you want, as much as you do. So but the biggest thing from my point of view, again, not anywhere near the level of knowledge you have in the actual hunting world. It wasn't a good fit. I could tell in the way you talked about him. I could tell how aggravated you'd get whenever he would, you know, chase a possum, tree a possum, chase deer, all that other.
And that's all part of it. I mean, it's all part of it. But you just got to be honest with yourself and what you're feeling. And you know, I had the opportunity to sell him to someone that is pretty well known and that was gonna be able to do for him what was going to be really hard for me to do for him.
Right.
And it was hard.
Yeah,
it sucked.
I know. I know. But, you know, without naming names, he's doing well. Well, he's doing well.
He's done well
with where he's at, and
which makes me happy.
Yeah, that's the ultimate goal. You know, you want to have the dog. Yeah. Yes, you raised him. You'll always be the one who raised him, but you want to see him achieve and be the best he can.
And the whole point of the series is a look into what it's like for the most part a regular guy.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not the guy that's buying a finished dog and just taking it to a hunt and trying to win with it.
Right.
I'm doing it the way that a lot of people are gonna have to do it and are trying to do it. They got to buy something that's just started because it's cheaper, or they got to buy a baby pup because it's cheaper.
Right. And then you gotta train it, you gotta work it, you gotta try to instill all of those things into it that you like as the owner, or you know, when you turn them loose, to be confident in their ability. Because you know, obviously the goal is to competition hunt one day and compete, and you got to have confidence in the product you're putting out. Otherwise, you know, what are we doing? What are we doing it for? So, but that's a good look into, you know, how the series started and kind of the bulk of the first part, you know, the first part of that journey.
And I hated it because, you know, I felt like people were invested in it. And but you know, you just have to do what you think's best and live with it, you know.
Right. And now, you know, I know since we've kind of transitioned now to having Shy as kind of our lead, you know, our main subject so far, until Ruby kind of comes along a little bit more.
And as of this recording, there's only been 1 episode out on Shy. So
you guys are just meeting Shy, and what we did was a really kind of condensed video on him, just because.
It was a quick one.
It was a quicker video because he had success that night. It was a real quick, you know, turn him loose, bam, he's treed, okay.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot more stuff coming out on him. And Ruby alongside.
Yeah, I mean,
some new type
Ruby,
content
you know,
we're doing, and blah blah blah.
Ruby, she come about from a guy I know in Arkansas that was selling her as a year-old pup, basically, and he was selling her for $500. So she was, you know, a good investment. Hadn't really been messed with at all, and you know, she's been training squirrels and stuff in the yard, and
you
she's
told
treated
me,
coon,
you told
one
me
coon,
she's got a real strong pedigree on her? Who's she out of?
Well, she's got the same dad as Boone had, Redneck Law,
Okay.
same dad, owned by Cody Jones in Miami, Oklahoma, and her mom is Backwoods Daisy. She goes back to Redneck Backwoods Shack and Redneck Mafia, and so does Law. Law goes back to Redneck Mafia, but yeah, she's bred good. She's a high-strung dog.
Yeah.
Much like Boone was. High-strung and kind of crazy, but a good personality and a good temperament. Nothing scares her. She's not shy of anything. And Boone was that way too. He wasn't shy. And shy, I mean like timid, not shy, the new dog. But yeah, and then I guess I'll just speak on Shy, how we got him.
Yeah.
So I heard through the grapevine from my buddy Cody Jones that there was a redneck backwoods shack male dog that was going to be for sale, a 2-year-old dog, and he said I should check him out. So I got a hold of the guy. I went down there, and the guy told me when I talked to him on the phone, he said, I'll let you try him before you buy him, which that's always a good sign if they're going to let you try him first. So I got down there and we went hunting, and it was a complete disaster from the get-go.
Nice.
We went hunting in a PT Cruiser, and we got the Cruiser stuck out in the field. The dog went hunting a little bit. Actually, the first time I cut him loose, he had me cut him loose first time, and I cut him loose, and he went about 20 yards in front of me, looped around, went about 30 yards behind me, and caught a coon on the ground. So that was impressive to see right off the bat. But then after that, he didn't really want to go hunting, and it just wasn't. I don't know. It just wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
And the guy got mad at him. Then
Wasn't a great audition.
We got the Cruiser stuck, and it was just a disaster. And I was basically 3 hours from the house, so kind of got him talked down a little bit on the price, and I just felt like I should do it. And Ethan's actually partners with me on that dog, so on Shy. So we bought him and brought him home, and it was rough at the beginning. It was rough. Yeah. He was very timid around me. If you looked at him wrong, he would go back to the truck and hide under the truck.
I guess his namesake fits then, huh?
So
at least for a while there.
But he started coming around.
Yeah.
After a couple of weeks, started to get to know me, understanding that I'm the one bringing him the food and everything, and kind of just building that relationship with him.
Yeah, it's a process. There's no doubt.
And then he started to do some things. He took him one night with Josh's dog, Heist, which is a really nice dog, and he treated a coon right there with Heist. It looked good on it, and I've been hunting him, and he's starting to treat some coons.
Yeah, I know.
He's got a big mouth, a big motor.
Yeah.
Good looking dog, and I love his personality.
Yeah, I know.
It's sad to say, but I haven't thought about Boone much here lately.
Well, and that should tell you right there that it was the right decision.
He's got a good personality. He's the kind of personality I like.
He's very easygoing.
Yeah, like now he's not hiding under the truck anymore. He will, all you got to do is get a little bit stern with him in the voice, and he will respond to that.
Yeah. As
opposed to Boone. He was not responding to that.
Mm-mm.
You had to get hard on him.
Yeah.
And I don't like doing that.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, I really like Shy at this point.
Yeah.
And he's not anywhere even close to where he can get to.
Yeah.
I think he's treated me somewhere around 10 coons. And really I've only had him about 2 months.
Yeah.
And probably only hunted him
I'd say
20
hard.
times.
Yeah, I'd say hard, not super long. So
yeah.
I know just from us talking, you got high hopes for him, and
yeah,
he seems to be really coming along for as little as he was hunted there for the first few years of his life.
I didn't even say that. He was 2 years old when I got him, and the guy that had him, he was getting into bad health and just wasn't doing good. And Shy was basically hunted like 5 or 10 times the whole first 2 years of his life.
Yeah.
And every time he was hunted with other dogs, I think, just based on how he acted whenever I got him. So with that, I mean, it took a little bit to get him to, it took a few nights to get him to going hunting on his own. He went through a little phase where he was running junk. And then once he started treeing coons, he's looked a lot better.
Yeah.
Now, granted, he's got a long ways to go before he can compete, but yeah, I got high hopes for him.
Yeah, for sure.
Big time.
For sure.
Really like him.
Well, moving forward, I'll kind of bring us to, I guess a close here on this first episode. Moving forward, that we're doing this kind of multiple people, same space format, just because we live so close together. But moving forward, I know, Brennan's got plans to talk to all sorts of people about, anything from conservation to deer hunting to turkey hunting to fishing.
Yeah, and I mean, I want to make that clear too. This podcast, at least how I would like it to go, and our channel, it's going to be 70 to 80% coon hunting.
Yeah.
Maybe a little less, maybe a little more at times. I'm still going to try to do deer and turkey hunting, some fishing, just kind of what we do around here. And it's going to be the same for the podcast, Coon hunting is just special to me. And so is the deer and turkey hunting whenever that season's in. But there's just something extra about the coon hunting. But yeah, for future plans, I'm gonna have a lot of coon hunters on, and a fair amount of other people that is involved with deer hunting or turkey hunting, or just maybe buddies to talk about.
Just gonna be a range,
old stuff. But I mean, yeah, if
we're excited to kind of kick off this new, I guess, style of content. We've been pretty heavy in the field hunting stuff, really in the action. So hopefully, something like this, you can learn a little bit about us, kind of how this all came together, what it takes to really put out the product, and hopefully you guys are enjoying, obviously, and have been able to take some bits and pieces of education or entertainment or whatever from it the longer we go.
I'm going to want this podcast to be as consistent as possible. We're going to see how that works with our schedules. But, I've got plans for Josh Cowden, which we just had him on the channel with his dog Heist. I'd love to do a podcast with him. There's a lot of people I have in mind that are good, knowledgeable people about their craft around here, and I'm open to suggestions too. If you guys in the comments tell me somebody that you would want to hear on a podcast, and I'd love to do it with them. I'm sure that I will get better at these as time goes on. I like to think I can talk to people pretty easily and have good conversations.
Depending on what mood you're in, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like I'll get better at it, and we just want it to be a fun, kind of loose, just having a conversation type of feel. Because I know when I'm at work, I love to listen to that. I love to listen to people tell stories.
Yeah.
Give training insight, just knowledge in general.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've wanted to do a podcast for a long time. They're probably the single-handedly greatest invention that's ever been
here we are.
thought of.
Here we are. But no, I mean, so we appreciate everybody who's obviously watched up to this point, kept up with Boone, Shy, Ruby, all of our, I'll call them adventures, liked our stuff on YouTube. We're still on the road to 1,000 subs. That's kind of our goal at the moment. So if you like this content, want to keep up with the story of Brennan and the rest of the crew, me, Ethan, and whoever else we bring on, be sure to like and follow. And if you don't have anything else, I think we'll close her out.
I mean, I appreciate all all the feedback and the views from all you guys watching. It really means a lot to me for sure. And like I said, this is something I've wanted to do for a very long time. This is going on 25 years of hunting and filming stuff and dreaming about having a hunting channel. So yeah, I really appreciate it. And we got some good things in the works coming up. A lot more with Shy, and hopefully some more stuff with Josh and just people around here. So it should be good, and should have good stuff coming up. So yeah, just like and subscribe to the channel, and we appreciate all the love and feedback, and I'm looking forward to doing many more.
All right, we'll see you guys on the next one.
Yep, we'll catch you on the next one.